The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azalina, and I am joined by the Cody Clemens to my Bryce Harper. Regzy Boo, we're here.
Such a compliment. I'm not sure I deserve it.
I mean,
to be
look,
compared to such a such a world beater.
I think we have to own something here this evening. You and I made a lot of fun of Cody Clemens.
We did
last year.
We did
at the beginning of the year, and I just would like to publicly apologize to Cody.
I'll second that.
I would just like to say, Cody, I was not great to you, and I apologize for that because he has been absolutely tremendous for them. Like,
it's just
tremendous.
It's just amazing when compared to like Jake Cave or Derek Hall or these other guys who come up and they just can't do it. They can't make the transition. And Cody Clemens, for whatever reason, again, he's not like, you can't play him every day and expect this, but he just comes up and gives you good swings, man. And he hits the ball hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so, we're going to talk more Phillies here in a little bit, but I feel like it has to be said right now. At some juncture, the Phillies have a decision to make because right now it's Christian Pache holding that spot.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're going to want someone that has a little bit of pop, and Cody Clemens' bat is built for like that pinch hit role where he can get in and swing for it. And again, this is like, we are not even in that ballpark of conversation yet.
Right.
But at some point it's got to be had.
For sure.
It's got to be had. But we will, we'll keep an eye on it, but he's just been so good, and he comes up and does all the right things. Like he does all the right things, and he doesn't complain about not playing and not getting this at bat or this amount of time or this, that, the other thing. And look, he's going to have a long career because he can play multiple positions and does it all well. And hits.
Yeah. Again, and it's just like what the Phillies don't have is that lefty bat. Again, in an ideal world, you're probably not using Cody Clemens for that, but when you're the Phillies, like, that's exactly the kind of guy you're looking for.
Because you're loaded.
Exactly.
And every other position is taken care of for you. It's who they are right now. They're just absolutely top to bottom, loaded with talent. And again, we're going to get to them in a little bit, but it just needed to be said. It needed to be said right off the jump tonight. So how's your week going, buddy? Baseball going all right? I haven't talked to you.
It's good. We're in it. Everything was pretty canceled last weekend with the weather.
Okay.
But, we went to Sunday Night Baseball the other day.
That must have been fun. It was a good win.
It was. It's been Cole won his Monday. They rescheduled a game for Monday. He did well. They beat the first place team. Yeah, it's going good. I'm getting asked to be the coach for 8U next year already.
That's exciting.
I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.
What would be the negative?
It has nothing to do with obviously coaching my middle son. I don't have any issue with that. I've done the head coach thing. It was fine. I've like, this game on Monday is the first full game of my older son that I've seen all season.
Gotcha.
Like, it's the first one.
Gotcha.
Like, I've literally, up until then, I've caught innings, a couple, like 2 innings here, 2 innings there, like if our games aren't at the same time.
Right.
And if I'm the head coach, like, then I got to be at the field like not 45 minutes early. I got to be there an hour and a half early because it's my responsibility to get the field together and like make sure
Yeah.
we're ready to play and umpire, all that stuff that comes with it.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
it's one of those things. I
all right.
I appreciate the guys who are putting in a good word for me. They're doing it for nice reasons. Like they think I'm a good person and could do it, and
that's great.
they would trust their children, with me as their coach, which again I appreciate. But we'll see how it works out.
Regz, I also would trust you to coach my child.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we real quickly talk about what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks?
Of course.
I just got really excited because I sent you the message today.
Yep. I'm pumped. It's going to be great.
So we have not played in the tournament since we won the tournament.
That's correct.
So Regz Banksy, if you don't listen to a Miss podcast co-host, Chris Fairbanks, and one of my former teachers, Adam, who is also a very good golfer, and when I say also, I mean like not me included in that.
No, him and Banks, yeah. So am I.
Yeah. Are playing in a scramble tournament in memory of my uncle in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
1 week from this Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll be playing. And we won this tournament a few years back. The year after we won it, I believe was the COVID year, right? Like it canceled.
Was it that long ago?
Or was COVID? No.
I think COVID was the second time.
We won in COVID year.
Did we?
Because I had Maverick. It was the end. It was like 2021. We won.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we won in 2021. Okay. And then 2022, like we somehow didn't have a spot saved for us.
Yeah.
Which was wild. And then last year I had my elbow surgery and we dropped out. So this will be the first time we've played in it. And we're a better team now. I've gotten better. I'm still not good, but I've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
You're still good.
Yeah.
Like you're a scramble golfer. You're fine. Stop.
Halfway decent.
And then Banksy and Adam are both like these shooters.
Yeah.
So to have one on a scramble team is
great. Yeah.
a good thing.
Again, we won with only Fairbanks being the stud that was many years ago.
So basically we replaced Crawford, who's like me.
Yeah.
Maybe a little worse than me, with Adam, who's maybe a little worse than Banks.
Right. Yeah. Still better than both of us.
That's what you call an upgrade.
That's right.
In the business.
That's right.
So essentially, I might not get out of the cart all day.
I mean, yeah, we're going to do just a lot of drinking and like cheering on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
like,
the best.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a blast.
Like, I don't even have to do my whole like act of, well, if I just put one in the fairway, then, the ball in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm not worried about getting off the tee one bit. Like that's going to be Fairbanks and Adam's job. I'll help out. Like I was chipping pretty well when I played with Banksy a little while ago. I feel like I can putt it fine. I'm good for like a few putts, or at least I'm going to give you some good reads. I feel like, there'll be an iron shot or two that I get inside them. I'll contribute in those ways, but yeah, it's going to be all about making sure those guys hit it as far as humanly possible off the tee. And then we'll just, we'll try from there.
I don't even know if I'm going to do any of that. I'm just going to be present and
I don't even know if I'll swing off the tee half the time. Like we're just going to let them lead the way.
What's the point?
Exactly.
What is the point is really what it comes down to. I don't know what the point is. We will find out as we go, but I'm excited. We will keep everybody abreast of how it goes when we, record. Honestly, if we win, it's getting posted all over social media anyway. So, and by if, I mean when, because I just don't see us losing with the two of them unless people are being jerks.
Yeah.
Which we have experienced in this tournament.
Yeah.
We have experienced that in this tournament. So, all right. Well, we've got a packed show tonight. You're going to hear my thoughts on NBA officials at the end of the show. We are going to start with the NBA and then get to the Phillies. I'm going to give you the update. We are 2 weeks post our redraft, so I'll give you the update of where we're at there. But before we do, we are going to talk Sixers. There's no Eagles updates tonight. Everything's pretty standard. They had mini camp. Not a whole lot to talk about there unless you want to talk about the video of Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts squatting and Saquon squatting and Jalen sitting in the background smiling like a proud dad.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest photos.
It's pretty good.
Ever. It was so good. But I don't know that we have to spend a lot of time really focused on that. Just know that they're coming for you. No more double high safeties for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So what we want to do with the Sixers tonight is a little exercise on they only have 2 guys locked into a contract right now. Joel Embiid and Ricky Council are it. Paul Reed essentially is, but it's not guaranteed. And obviously Maxi's got the max kind of contract attached to him. So that'll happen. But they have 10 free agents. And what I'd like to do is go down the list and just decide from a fixated standpoint, would we keep them for what? And, in what role are we talking? So we're going to run through them really quickly. We're not going to spend a ton of time. And then I just have a little bit of another scenario before we move on to the Phils. So let's go ahead and start with the most obvious of the Sixer free agents, and that would be one Tobias Harris. I think our thoughts on Tobias are pretty well known. I don't know that there's much of a debate to be had here. I know Daryl Morey in his postseason press conference said that they would love to have him back. Not sure for what. Not sure why he even said that.
Yeah.
I know he loves Toby, but Regz, that can't be true.
No, it can't be. Come on.
Can't be true.
Let's be serious here.
That can't be. Come on. Let's not do this. Can we not do this?
No. Some team is going to pay Tobias Harris just to eat minutes.
Yeah.
I
think he's got himself set to go. I
Yeah.
don't think he has any interest in staying around.
No. I think
staying around.
I think we can move on.
Yeah. Buddy Hield. Thoughts on Buddy? What do you think?
I mean, ideally, yes. That's one of the guys you want to have. You need pure knockdown shooters around Maxey and Embiid. That's in theory what Buddy Hield is. I'd love it if he could be a little bit more consistent. I wouldn't be mad. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset. Depending on the number. I feel like Buddy Hield probably makes too much money for how inconsistent he is, but people make a lot of money in the NBA and some of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to probably surprise you here. I don't want Buddy back.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't know that Daryl said it, and it's funny because it's one of the things I mentioned a few times in text messaging with you. It never seemed to gel or click, and I know that it was a short time. If they brought him back, I don't think I'd complain, but I don't necessarily, when I look at the list, I'm like,
Again, the only reason I say this is because I don't know what other shooters are out there for them to get.
That's fair.
Buddy Hield is a objectively good 3-point shooter in the NBA.
Yeah.
I get it. There's some nuances there, with how well he works with Joel and Tyrese and his movement based on what Nick Nurse wants to run now that he kind of has a clean slate. But again, without knowing every other free agent that's going to be out there and their 3-point percentages, I could go either way depending on what else is out there.
Right. I, for me, am sort of in the place of you're right. There probably aren't that many shooters of his caliber out there. I guess if he comes back as like a backup wing, I'm probably fine.
I don't want him in my starting lineup.
Yeah. I think I'm still gonna lean no.
That's again, I'm not arguing with it. You know what I mean? I'm
gonna lean no there. All right, let's move on. Nico Batum.
sure.
I'm a yeah. I mean, if he doesn't retire, Regs, the things about Batum that I appreciated, again, not from a starting perspective, is he uses his length well defensively. Still can shoot it. He's incredibly smart, like a very intelligent basketball player. One of the better passers on the team.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of that from a like wing perspective, but this guy can defend 1 through 5, do it at a high level. I know he's playing in the Olympics this summer, so I don't know that his career is necessarily over, but
so look, he is on the older side. There's going to be a pretty big drop off probably coming at some point where he just can't do the same things defensively. Like I see this as like your Andre Iguodala on the Warriors. You know what I mean? You keep him around because he seems to get along with everybody. He can still knock down a shot or two. And in limited minutes, he can give you the kind of defense and kind of basketball IQ you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think I'm good if he decides to come back, only because of what you said. It's the veteran piece, and it's also for me, like I mentioned, his length, his defense, his shooting, and if he's again like 7th or 8th man, it's fine.
That's
fine.
exactly right. If he's the 7th or 8th man, that's exactly the kind of guy you can trust him coming off the bench to not make mental mistakes, to hopefully play some defense in limited minutes and maybe knock down a few shots.
Yeah. How about Robert Covington?
No, thank you.
So all right.
He had the worst bone bruise apparently in the history of humankind. Like I don't.
Sure. It was. However, if Robert Covington's looking to take a 1-year deal, prove it type deal, then I don't know that I'm opposed to it. Like health, all things considered with health. But his length would have his ability to rebound would have really helped them in this Knicks series. Like, really helped them in this Knicks series.
I'm just going off the assumption that I can find a better version of Robert Covington somewhere.
Yeah, and again, it's all in context of how.
Sure,
right. Like if he's coming back on a 1-year prove it for veteran minimum, sure, do it.
Right.
If there's a better version of that somewhere that you can get for younger with some of your assets, then do that. But I think the type of player on a cheap deal where he's got to play the contract, because what else is out there for him after this year? I'm good with bringing him back.
Yeah, it would have to be the right thing, and it would have to be sort of, we've exhausted all other options.
Right. Okay. How about Melton? I'll give you my thoughts.
Go ahead. I'm so blah with him.
Yeah. Again, another injury issue in the postseason. It is crazy to those issues that they struggled with, but I'd be okay with DeAndre Melton on like hey, I need to prove myself. That 1-year prove it deal. He's a fine shooter, fine defender. We liked him when he was on the floor. Like we did.
He was playing well this year.
It's just a matter of, can he stay on the floor? And again, if he's willing to take the 1-year prove it, then I think you let him. Between he and Covington, he's the guy I'd rather have.
I agree with that. Yes.
So I'd say I'm going to put a nice little star next to his name like I did Batum. I put like a question mark by Buddy and Rocco because we were on the fence, and I put a big fat X next to Toby.
Thank you.
All right. How about Mo Bamba?
No, thanks.
Yeah. The Sixers have to get serious about a backup center.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So, KJ Martin.
I think this is one of those places where you are substituting Batum and like a Covington / Melton for this kind of bench role. Like, I think that's what you're looking to upgrade here. It's the same with like Ricky Council. Like, you just want to get. I'm not denying the fact that those guys in limited time like played decently, but I just think you want to look down the bench and see a little bit more proven NBA players.
Yeah.
And with the space and cap that they have, like Nick Batum should be like your floor of guys that you're trying. Like, that's the end of your bench. Everything from there should be looking to get younger, more athletic, and just more talented. Like, that should be the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. KJ Martin does nothing for me. He's super athletic. Shot is awful.
Yeah.
So he's noted for me, dog.
Yeah. That, again, I'm with you there.
Kelly Oubre.
Yes.
Yes. That is a.
I don't think we can expect him to maybe be as good offensively. But the defense was very good. He liked kind of hanging out in that dunker spot for drop-off passes and things like that. Yeah. Yes.
For me as a sixth man, I'd love it. I don't know that you can sell him on that. Although he said he's only worried about being loved, and he felt loved in this city. So if that's true and that's the case, then fine by me.
Look, again, he
Bring
could
him
go
back.
play for a worse team and be a starter.
Yeah.
But if he wants to play for a good team and be the sixth man, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do think Joe made a good point in the press conference. Like, at some point, continuity matters. So bringing 3 or 4 of these guys back would be important.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously he and Maxey having the continuity is great. Ricky Council, that's great. I mean, the guy barely played this year, but, you know, having that continuity. Bringing guys back like Batum, Melton, Buddy Hield, and Kelly Oubre, all that it matters.
Yeah,
It matters being familiar with your teammates. That all matters. So that brings me to these last 2 guys. I'm going to say them together because I don't think you can keep both. So I think it's one or the other in like that 4th guard spot. And it really comes down to what you value. It's going to be the veteran gritty defender or the spark plug energetic shooter that you don't know whether or not it's going in, even though in the playoffs it felt like it was going in every time he shot it. So it's either Kyle Lowry or Cam Payne. You're not bringing both back, right? Like, I don't think that's a thing.
This is like a choice of God.
Like, I
I
feel like
wanna
if you're gonna bring
say-
Batum back, then you bring Payne back.
Yeah, I want to be younger and more athletic overall. Look, listen, Kyle, for all his veteran savvy and all those things, like, he just doesn't have it. And again, I think on the other side, Cam Payne shoots way too much for my liking. Like, just thinks he has the ultimate green light. And look, there are going to be days where that helps you in the regular season, and he's probably going to lose you a few games because he comes in and chucks up like 9 shots in 7 minutes, and just nobody else touches the ball besides him. And then in a playoff game, like, he just probably doesn't play that much. He just doesn't play that much in the playoffs. Yeah. So I'd probably, if I had to choose, Cam Payne. I just don't think Lowry doesn't have enough in the tank, man. It's just not. It's like they're almost 40. He's 40 years old. Like, it just.
No one calls Campaign's number more than Campaign.
No,
and
no.
I love that for him.
He just always calling his own number.
And I love it. I love that Campaign is like, he walks on the floor and he's like, it's campaign time.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of his attitude. And I'll take it. And again, as your 4th guard, totally fine.
Yeah.
No issues with that. No issues with that whatsoever. So I did put a question mark next to both of them because if it were Lowry as your fourth guard, whatever, he can't be starting.
I just think
And
that
he
like
started
when
this
there
year,
are the nights
but
where
he
you
can't
need
be.
like your
He can't
full
be starting on a
Yeah.
playoff team
I just think where there are
in the
those
playoffs.
I just think where there are those nights in the regular season where like you need to give Maxey like a day. Like you would just rather have Campaign. Campaign can play the whole game if you need him to. Like Kyle, you just can't. Like he's not gonna give you the same kind of energy and minutes and things like that. Like Campaign will eat minutes. Like no one will be happier to be out there than Campaign. Like just chucking up everything.
Right. Just because it's a fun update. The Celtics beat the Cavs by 25 tonight.
Yeah. Not shocking.
Jesus. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this, because he's not a free agent. However, his contract's not guaranteed. So I want to know your thoughts. If you rid of Paul Reed, you save like it's somewhere between $7 and $9 million. So do you save the 7.5 to 9 million and cut ties with Paul? We mentioned already the Sixers really need to get better behind Joe. I am like all in on bringing Drummond back. That's like he was good when he was here. He was fine as a backup. He and Joe got along fine. He protected the rim. He was able to catch the lobs. Like they just need a guy who can go out there and you don't lose the minutes when he's on the court. That's all they need. And they lost all the Paul Reed minutes.
Yeah.
All of it. And talk about another guy who called his own number too much in the Knicks series.
Yeah. I'm good with
Paul Reed.
I'm good with moving on from Paul Reed.
Yeah, save that cap space. Climb up to like 70 million and let's roll.
Yeah.
I'm moving on too. And you might even be able to trade him.
Right.
Like there might be a team willing to
take
that on, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to do a deeper dive into the postseason after the NBA championship. However, I think it is important to at least visit this conversation knowing that Morey is looking for a third person. Like he said it. He's like, our number one goal is to find the third guy for this roster to move us forward. He said Joel's going to be involved in that conversation as well as Nick Nurse, but Joel should be involved in that conversation. So now it comes down to who will it be? What do they value? There are 3 names who have been tossed around this week. Quite a bit, actually. And I'm going to list those 3 names, and I want to know your thoughts on which one you would prefer.
Okay.
Based on where the Sixers are. Okay. Brandon Ingram is one of them. Okay. Brandon Ingram is one of those 3. I have my thoughts as a former Duke fan, as a Duke fan. He's a Duke alum, so I have my thoughts. Then there's Paul George, who is nowhere near signing an extension with the Clippers. And then there's Jimmy Butler, who is going through his Jimmy Butler phase in Miami right now. So those are the 3 main options right now. Does that mean that's all that's available to them? No, there are other players that they could certainly trade for, acquire in a different way. However, those seem to be the 3 guys that you could say you'll be the third piece. Let me put out some context and I'll get your thoughts. These guys don't have to come in and be the guy. They have to come in and be able to score when Joe's not on the floor. They have to come in and be able to defend on a wing. They have to come in and be present in the postseason. Because the third option that they were paying to be the third option wasn't that.
Scored 0 points.
Yes. Here's what we know. When Jimmy Butler's healthy, he's a very good postseason player. He's also 36, I believe, right? Paul George has not ever really been a good postseason player. He kind of turns into James Harden postseason. So knowing that, press pause. And
is also 34.
I think he's also
Or
36.
he might be
isn't he?
36 also. Yeah, I just looked it up and then I forgot immediately.
And then Brandon Ingram has pulled a couple of disappearing acts in the postseason himself. So, although albeit much younger than the other two. So kind of fits the window a little. So you give me your thoughts. You don't have to rank them. You could just give me the one you'd prefer.
Yeah. Jimmy's a no. And
I mean, it'd be fun for stories,
yeah,
if nothing else.
Nobody was a bigger fan of like young Paul George than I was. Like if Paul George is 26, like Brandon Ingram was, yeah, give me all that.
Yeah. How about it?
But I take Brandon Ingram because he's 26. And I think he's a prime candidate for like a change of scenery guy, getting out of that Zion circus. He unfortunately has had some injuries as well. You're hoping he can like bounce back okay from that. But the guy did prove it in some playoff series, like that he can be the number one scorer on a playoff team. And like you said, he doesn't have that same pressure here. And I just think he's like just a prime change of scenery guy with a perfect age to fit in like right in between Maxey and Joel for what they're looking for.
Yeah. He's also a very underrated defender. He's got a lot of length.
And he's got the size and the length, right?
Yeah, he can rebound.
Yep.
I will say this was a thing for him at Duke too. A lot of times he takes very high degree of difficulty shots that feel forced, frustrating. However, this is like the atonement of the Ben Simmons pick, because this is the guy that was number 2.
Yeah.
At the time, the Ben Simmons pick was the move. We all know that. However, Brandon Ingram has been a better player.
Right.
Like, let's, not even pretend. I mean, TJ McConnell's been a better player. So I think, now that's not disparaging TJ. He's turned himself into a heck of a ball player, but it just goes, the point is the point.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I could probably talk myself in, and by probably I mean definitively, I could talk myself into the other two.
Yeah.
Just because I'm gonna have to.
Right.
I do hope, though, that Daryl looks at this and says, "Look, I need some youth.
Yes.
I need some guys that can come here and spark some energy. Like, look at the Knicks. I don't like or respect the Knicks, but it's like Jalen Brunson and a bunch of role players.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a bunch of role players.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not saying that that's what I want, nor is it what I need or what they need to win. I think the Knicks have fallen into some stuff this postseason that has caused success. And I don't think they're all that good. I just think they're on a heater and they're living, they're really just living on final breaths every single night. They're playing dudes 40 minutes a night.
Right.
I think to beat a team like the Celtics come postseason, you need multiple dudes.
Yeah.
You need multiple dudes. And you've got 2 right now. I still go to the freaking ends of the earth defending Joel as a dude. And Tyrese Maxey grew up right before our eyes this postseason. And he's only going to get better. So I'm in the Brandon Ingram department too. I actually thought we were going to disagree here. I thought you were going to say Jimmy.
No.
So
Jimmy's my third choice.
Okay.
I'd rather have Paul George.
He's probably my second choice, but I could be swayed.
I love Paul George. I always have.
Yeah, I think for me the Jimmy thing is just the Joel thing.
Yeah, I just like Jimmy's just getting hurt too much, man. I mean, again, Paul George has been getting hurt. Like, there's no, like, I just don't see it. Why go get someone at 36 years, Paul George is 34 or 36 years old, when you can get a 26-year-old who's proven to be able to score in the playoffs. And like, is just looking for somewhere to like be a part of a team that's not like you have a stable head coach now. You have these two guys in Maxey and Embiid who have been here for a while, like, you know, are together in like this duo. Like Ingram could step right into that.
Yeah.
And it just, the age fits in between them so well.
Yeah.
That I just think it's the perfect.
One other guy to consider, we're not going to throw him in here because I think less like the others, is Pascal Siakam. You know, he's another one that should kind of shake free and would be a nice fit in sort of that stretch four spot, right? And you know, he and Embiid have, you know, their history in a positive way. They have a friendship, so you know, just someone else to think about.
Yeah.
One more thing, and it's Tyrese based, and I'm just gonna make a statement, and see if you agree with it. He won Most Improved Player. He still has holes in his game, clearly. I still think, you know, his distribution lacks a little bit. Sometimes he's out of control and loses control of the ball, and you know, passes that should have been made end up falling at his feet. But the thing for me that I want to see from him next year is the ability to get to the line, because it's not. We're seeing it right now. We watched it for a whole series with Jalen Brunson. Do I want him to go to that extreme? I don't want that. But I do want him at the line more. So I think if there's a place I'd like to see him in, it's finding ways to get to the line and slowing down a little bit and eating the contact in a way that referees can't say, you know, they miss it, or he's, you know, it's too fast.
Yeah. I am a little bit different. I kind of want him to develop a better mid-range game.
Oh,
like teams right
fair.
now know that he's either going to beat you to the rim, and he's going for it. Like, he's gotten much better at not being afraid to go in there. You're right. It is an art to like get those fouls called, and hopefully his free throw rate can start to tick up. That's another really like big indication of a guy understanding how to score really well in the NBA, is how many free throws they can generate a game. Right. But I just think he needs that added wrinkle that teams like are thinking about. Well, what if he like stops on a dime and pulls up from here? And I just think it could save his body a little bit, and it just it's the thing he's missing. Because if he beats you, and he's going for that, either that little floater or he's going to the rim. Like, there's no in between. But like with his ability to start and stop, and his agility, like, and his quickness, you'd have guys on skates if you start developing that part of your game. That's where I'd really like to see him improve.
I can get behind that too. I can get behind that. Just something to think about with him. And I know Ricky Council's going to be out with him too, so that'll be cool to see how he improves his game along the way. All right, let's jump across the street. You know, we love to do that. And you know, I really think it's important that as we talk about the Phillies, we talk about, they're in first place and that's all well, but I mean, it's, you know, probably benefits us to just talk about how weak their schedule is as we start this conversation tonight.
What if I don't want to?
Gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. It's so funny to me.
It's just so funny. The biggest point, like, there's just not that many good teams, and they all don't play each other all the time.
And sometimes when let me rephrase. And when you win, the records get worse.
Right.
Like when they played the Pirates were game over 500.
Yeah.
Like, let's, you know, put it into perspective here. It's just,
not every series is the Braves versus the Dodgers, and the Dodgers versus the Phillies, and, you know, the Yankees versus whoever else is in the American League and playing well.
Right. Right. What the Phillies are doing to teams right now is truly something to behold. Jason Stark tweeted about 40 minutes ago. I just saw it right now. Then their last 162 games, they're 101-61 with a 197 run differential. Hold on. 197 run differential. This is a good lineup. Like, wanna believe it, don't want to believe it, want to buy into them, want to doubt them. It's a really good lineup. It's a really good starting rotation. It's a really good bullpen. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Like, so couple things. One being, in years past, they lost games to bad teams all of the time. It's what they were known for. We would pull our hair out because they couldn't beat the Marlins.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We would pull our hair out. Like, they literally missed the postseason because they couldn't beat the Marlins. Also, they struggled against good pitching. On Sunday night, the game you were at, they faced one of the better starters in the National League. Knocked him out in the 5th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, they faced statistically the best pitcher in baseball. Lowest ERA in the sport. 7 total runs this year coming into tonight. He hadn't given up more than 2 in 1 start yet. They scored 8. They doubled. They doubled his year-long total in runs in 4 innings.
Without some of the, yeah, right.
like JT
Whit
didn't play
Merrifield
tonight.
was hitting second.
JT didn't play tonight. Bomer didn't play tonight. Obviously, Trea is out. Like, Rojas, who's been struggling a little bit. Like, they didn't even have their full squad in there tonight.
Yeah.
But they just can do so much damage in so many different I don't know what's been the most impressive to me. I mean, the offense is just really tough to get out right now.
I just think, yeah, I think the most impressive thing is that, like, their best player up until the last 3 games hasn't been hitting that well.
Yeah.
And also, like, oh, the guy who, like, is a 300 hitter and your second baseman really hasn't been hitting well. The guy you're paying $20 million a year has the worst batting average in all of baseball. And they're still winning these games and scoring runs and doing what they have to do to win. So, I mean, that plus obviously the pitching has been fantastic. So, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's obviously, as a Philly sports fan, it's tough to really enjoy things because you're always thinking about the other side of the wave. But the wins they're building up, like, are for that. Like, so when inevitably they lose 5 of 7 or something weird happens, you know, they just go through a rough patch. Like, this is why you can feel okay about it. Because every team in baseball does it, and they're stacking wins, like you said. When historically, like, we would go to Arizona when Arizona was the worst team in their division and lose series and games when we needed them to, like, get in the playoffs. We would go to Miami and lose games when we needed wins to get into the playoffs. We'd lose series to the Nationals. Like, it just over and over again. We'd play down to these teams, and they're just not doing it. Like, they're doing what the Braves have done for the past several years. The Braves always beat who they should. They very rarely lose series to teams that are beneath them.
And look, there's absolutely something to be said for, like, oh yeah, they haven't really played any, like, you know what I mean? They've only really played 2 or 3 teams with over 500 records.
Sure.
But two pieces to that. Well, 1.5. The first one being like, should they lose so these teams have better records? Like, what is the goal? Like, what is the goal? The goal is to win, and they're doing that, and they're not just winning; they are beating the literal piss out of teams on a nightly basis. I mean, like they are just going out there and slugging every night. Let me do this. I made a list of pitchers that they've beat up over the last month. I quickly just ran through. Garrett Crochet. That was the game I went to. And I was like, oh, great. I get to see Garrett Crochet. He's just going to mow him down.
Right.
7 earned. Okay. Hunter Green. Good starter in Cincy. 4 earned. It's a pretty good night against a guy who throws 98 with a devastating off-speed pitch. Nick Lodolo, one of the better lefties in the game. 3 earned. Think they won both of those games, by the way. Joe Musgrove, 7 earned. Dylan Cease, 5 earned. Logan Webb, the game you were at the other night, 4 earned. 5 runs total off of him. And Jose Barrios, 8 earned. Like, Regz, this is like a 3-week, 4-week span.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe the teams aren't great, but those 7 names I just mentioned could go out against a team any night and shut them down.
Yeah.
And their team can win a ball game because they're pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Not against the Phillies right now.
Yeah.
And look, Regz, we know things are going to happen. They're not going to play like this all year. They're very confident right now. Like, listening to Bryce after the game, we just got to keep the mentality, keep going out there. JT yesterday, I don't know if you heard the question. It was tweeted a lot.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot. Like, do you worry that you're peaking too soon?
Mm-hmm.
And he like laughed right in the reporter's face and was like, no, this team's built for the long haul. They believe in that, Regz. Like, they believe that they are built to do this all year.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that.
Yeah.
And I think it was Ken Rosenthal said that this team just has a general toughness, a toughness that he doesn't see in other teams that are good, that this team has. And he told a story about spring training and walking into the clubhouse. It was right after Brian Snickers said that the layoff really hurts the Braves in the postseason. And there were like 6 or 7 Phillies sitting in a circle, and they were all talking about how that pissed them off and how it belittled them. And how it makes them seem like they're not as good as what they showed in the postseason. I don't know, man. This, to me, and I'm willing to say this, feels like the best team I've ever watched in terms of being complete. And we watched some darn good Phillies teams. But this team, to me, they're finally playing like they should on paper. And it's terrifying. Like Trea hasn't even been in the lineup since Friday.
Yeah, right. And he was only hitting what, like 360 or something like that.
And what have they done since then?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Just rattled off 4 straight wins, scored 5 or more in all of those games. I don't know, man. Sorry, I just went on a rant.
No,
go ahead.
It was a great rant. I loved it. It's one of those things that is hard to, and I'll say it again, it's just hard for Phillies fans to appreciate. It takes a long time to like joggle their brains enough to be like, this isn't going to go bad. Like, you can enjoy it. You can have fun having the best team in baseball, because like it's a thing that might be real for a while. And again, they're going to go through a bump. They're going to go through a downtime where nobody's hitting and the pitching is weird and like it's just going to happen. But maybe this year that doesn't mean it's 7 games, right? Maybe it's 4. They lose 3 of 4, weird. series into a weird, start to another series. Who knows? Maybe they lose 3 of 5, right? Just little things here and there instead of the wild swings like win 5 of 6, lose 6 of 7. You know what I mean? That they were doing last year.
Yeah.
This is after the little blip to start the season. This is what we wanted this team to be. A team that is coming out to prove that the last 2 years weren't a fluke.
Yeah.
That they should have been in the World Series 2 years in a row. They had a really good chance to win it 2 years ago. And it's not a fluke. This team was made for this.
Yeah. Couple of quick things here. The Trea injury, obviously, like you said.
Oh, such a bummer.
360, 6 weeks. But they have the depth to sustain this, right? Even just last year, you're looking at Edmundo Sosa playing every day for 6 weeks.
Right.
Which means not great.
Yeah.
He gets exposed in that situation. But because you have Witt this year, who, by the way, is swinging it right now.
He's hitting it hard. He's still getting a little unlucky, but he's hitting it much better.
Well, he's got an 8-game hit streak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he hit 2 of his outs tonight were loud.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. What it allows for them to do is Sosa can play sparingly.
Right.
And Stott will be fine at shortstop. He's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of have that triumvirate of the 3 of them sort of rotating around.
Yep.
And it works.
Right.
It works. I wonder if Cody can play a little bit second.
I don't know.
I'd be curious if he can play a little bit of second. I'd have to ask my brother, who works at the Iron Pigs now, if he's seen him play second base at all, because you could work him in there a little bit as well if you'd like to against righties that you don't want Witt to play against. But I figure if you play third, you might be able to play a little bit of second, but that's maybe a stretch.
Yeah.
Anyway, it sucks. Trea's been so good.
I know.
However, I'd rather have Trea in October and not have this linger, because that hamstring.
Yeah, it's a real bummer for a guy like Trea.
Yeah.
It just stinks because he was really having the start that everyone expected him to. And that everyone wanted him to. And it's just a huge bummer that on a great hustle play to win them the game, that's when it happens. So it was just a bummer because for him, this guy, right, has the season he has last year and comes out and is playing like the guy we signed for $300 million. That was him. And I even think he still could have gotten better. Honestly. Yeah, just a bummer. I just felt terrible. I just want him to be out there because he deserves to show everybody. Last year, that first part of the season was it was just weird. This is Trea Turner.
Yeah, and Witt said last night after the game when.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
When well, the part that I was going to, I love that they're making.
Yeah.
I love that they're giving him a hard time, but he kind of blew cover a little bit because we were told it was soreness.
Yeah.
And he said when Trea's hamstring popped.
I know. I was hoping he used used a, he says pop, we don't know what Witt really means by that, but
for 6 weeks it
neither of it's good.
Yeah, if you're out for 6 weeks, it's likely it actually.
Yeah, it's just such a bummer.
But look, and here's the thing, Regz. If you're winning in 6 weeks, take your time.
Right.
If you're still on this kind of pace and your offense is still doing its thing, I don't need you till after the All-Star break, Trey. If that's what if we're playing that good a ball, take your time. I don't need this thing lingering.
Yeah.
I do not need it lingering. that is an injury we do not need to see hanging around.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. One other thing I want to talk about. In years past, we have sat here like, oh man, if so-and-so goes down, if this pitcher, if that pitcher, like Dave Dombrowski has built a super rotation. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Like tonight was like, all right, well, we'll put Christopher Sanchez out there. And then after that, we'll put Spencer Turnbull in. And Sanchez, I was a little worried that he was going to.
The first inning was a little weird, right? And a little tough.
I just thought he was going to struggle with the thought of Spencer being out there.
Yeah.
No, just go 7.
Well, I think like Rob had a good quote. Somebody tweeted a quote from Rob that was like, look, the plan was like hopefully to do 5 and 4. But like he said, Sanchez is being so efficient. He's like, well, we can't take him out. And like, if you want to hear something from your manager that shows that they trust you and that you're like, you can earn, your innings if you pitch well, right? It's not just we take you out because this was the plan.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need to hear. Like I was pitching well. I was I got my pitch count back down after a weird first inning, and the team was scoring and I wasn't letting the other team come back. Like, and they left me in a little bit longer.
Yeah. And you got to see Taiwan the other night, looked fine.
Yeah. Maybe let's just maybe not pitch Taiwan in the 7th inning anymore.
Yeah. He needs, look, it is what it is. He looked great until that moment again. So
and somebody said this like without his splitter working that well.
Yeah, it was hanging a lot.
Right.
It was hanging a lot. The Giants just aren't,
right.
Not a great baseball team offensively, unfortunately for them. And Wheeler, I mean,
well, that like you texted me. There's our Zach.
Zachy. I call him Zachy.
That's right.
I mean, that was just. And look, I think we went through this a lot from 2013 to like 2000, which was when you are a lesser ball club, good pitchers make you look pathetic. And that's what he does. Real Muto had a great quote after the game about how Zach Wheeler is now just a pitcher. Like he is just an absolute pitcher. He's got 5 pitches. Hitters never know what's coming because he throws everything for a strike. So it's just devastating for teams.
And it's like you can tell he still didn't have a feel for hasn't had a feel for one of his pitches a night.
Right.
In these last couple starts, his first couple starts, everything was working. Like everything. And then like the first time he was a little off, like he just didn't have the feel for the sweeper. Like it was just, he was diving everything into the ground. This last start, he didn't quite have the splitter feel, just wasn't working, but the sweeper was working and the fastball was moving and had some life to it and was just getting past bats. So that's what you're talking about. The guy who like has all these pitches, and if one isn't working, like, okay, the other 4 are still really good, and we're going to be just fine.
Well, and then, you got Ranger Suarez, who's...
Suarez. Yep.
And tomorrow you've got the pitcher that keeps kind of flying under the radar, Aaron Nola, who's 4-1 with a 3.32 ERA, which is high on this.
I was about to say,
It's high.
This feels very Taiwan Walker-y. Like how we won all those games last year, but like we were just like, how is he winning all these games?
Which is funny because like 3.5, like you look at the ERA on most teams and you're like, that's really solid.
Yeah,
he's having a good year. You look at it on this roster and it's like, geez, what's wrong with you?
Right,
like it's under, he's under 3.5.
I know, it's really funny.
Like that's better than league average.
This is just a random question, but like, where did Nola's changeup go? Like Nola was a fastball changeup guy, and his changeup was disgusting. And I get it, like the knuckle curve, like it's good sometimes, but like, man, I really wish that changeup was back.
Yeah, I think
like where did it go? This is again, I don't care what he wants to do. This is just like a random thought I had the other day. because I was watching like on game day on the app, and it was just like knuckle curve, knuckle curve, knuckle curve. I think he threw like 7 in a row, and I was just like, he used to have a really good changeup.
Yeah.
Wonder what happened to it.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I was just just one of those random thoughts that popped into my head.
Anything else you got for the Phils right now?
For everyone out there, who's a Phillies fan just like you and I'll admit this now, like I won't take it well when they lose 5 of 7 sometime. I'll be texting Azzy and he'll want to put his phone in the toilet because I'm texting him too much that people are terrible. And, why do I watch this team and all these things? So I'm saying this more for my, maybe just a little bit for myself more than anybody, but like, just everything's fine. Everything's fine.
I forget what game it was. I don't, was it a Giant game? I don't remember. They were 23.
Yeah.
Regz was texting me stuff and I go, you do know they're 23-11. You are watching the same team.
Yeah. And then just to like really nail it down, I said something about Trea and you're like, he has 2 hits, or he had 3 hits the other day. And I was just like, I know that one was just for me.
He said he was cooling off, and I was like, "Oh my God, don't do this right now."
That one was.
All right, quick update on the game here. These are not the final month stats. This is just update on where we're at in the game itself. So, reminders. Regz has Wheeler and Alvarado as pitchers. I have Ranger and Hoff. Regz has Schwarber, Stoddy, and replaced Real Muto with Bohm.
Yeah, of course, I'd take him, and then he loses his hitting streak.
Well, I don't know what's worse. You doing that? Oh, Bohm, you mean?
Yeah,
I thought you meant you were talking about Real Muto.
No.
Or me taking Rojas over Real Muto. Let me explain. I have Turner, Harper, and Marsh, but with Turner going down, I get to, like an IL, I get to put someone in.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the concern was, oh my gosh, like, Trea is my stolen base guy. Rojas is hitting fine. Maybe I'll catch lightning in a bottle. He doesn't need to be Trea.
Yeah, right.
He just needs to be good enough. And he's not been good since I picked him up. He's 1 of 13 since I got him. So that hasn't been good. I chose him. I was between he and JT. And I was like, I should have. I'm going back and saying I should have taken JT, but I'm gonna live it out with Johan, and we'll just see. You know who else I was thinking? Witt, because
yeah, he's gonna play a lot.
He's gonna play a lot more, but I wasn't sure how much. So
we didn't really know at that point.
Yeah, so I have to stick with Johan.
Oh my God, the at bat he had the other day, it was like, watch a fastball down the middle, down the middle, swing and sweeper 4 feet outside.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I forget who it was in front of him who got on base and was going to steal. I blame some of that on that person because he clearly was taking pitches for them. I mean, clearly, like, wasn't going to swing until they stole.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then he swung at a bad pitch. All right, so here's the update. Categories as a reminder: innings pitched, saves, wins, ERA, whip, and strikeouts for pitchers. Average, RBI, runs, stolen bases, home runs, strikeouts, OBP for hitters. Innings pitched is a little lopsided because Ranger hasn't had a second start.
Yeah.
And Wheeler has had 2. So you are up 15-9 in that category. Saves, we are tied. Jose and Hoff both have 1 save apiece. You are winning in wins right now.
Ooh.
I actually think you picked up a 3rd win yesterday. I have to go back and look. So I think you're up 3-1. I only have 1 win as of the moment in this month. ERA, you have a 1.20. I have a 3.
Ooh.
The Ranger game, he gave up the home run.
Yeah.
And only went 6 because of the rain. That rain really,
really
screwed me over.
Tough.
Whip, You have a 113. I have a 0.89. So
All right.
I am there's so far 3-2 right now. Strikeouts. You have 20. Again, little lopsided because of
Right.
the wheel.
Yeah.
I have 13. Hoffman has had 2 consecutive 3 strikeout innings.
Yeah.
So that's fun. So you are as we get through pitching, you are up 4-2.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it only gets better for you with offense.
Oh, sheesh.
Average, you are at 291. I am at 259. RBI, I am winning 16-15. Homers, I am winning 3-2.
Yep.
Stolen bases, I am winning 6-5. Runs scored, you are up 19-16.
Okay. Very close.
And on
All of
base
these.
percentage, you were up 406 to 345. Strikeouts, I have 27, you have 20.
Ooh.
Leading my team in strikeout, believe it or not. Oh, well, up until tonight it was Bryce, but it's actually Marshy.
Yeah.
He's got 9. But all of my guys have more than 5 strikeouts. So right now, halfway through the month, you are leading 8-4-1. But a lot of these, as you said, are close.
They are very close.
And we will continue to navigate as we go. I'll be happy to start a fresh page tomorrow. Because it's you can't see it necessarily, but there are a lot of erase marks and it's just getting difficult to navigate. So I will start fresh tomorrow with like, here's the number.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, all right, RBIs 8+
Right.
mark.
Right.
Or Schwarber is 9 for 34 right now. And I'll just write that number, the new number. He'll be either 10 for 35 or 9.
Yeah. I guess if any listeners out there are really good at putting together like little web-based things and you want to like figure out a way to help Azzy do this and calculate everything, let us know.
I just sit there with my little notepad and
Yeah,
watch
right.
the games. And it's not bad because I only have to like pay attention to 6 hitters.
Right.
And if Wheeler's pitching, I was marking off his strikeouts
Yeah.
anyway yesterday, but I waited for everything else until the line was set.
Mm-hmm.
And with Alvarado and Hoffman, it's 1 inning.
Yeah.
So not much to worry about there. But yeah, it's fun. It keeps me engaged. When I'm in Wichita, it's gonna be, a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
I might be, coming to you for your MLB.
Just let me know, man. I've offered it whenever you want it.
All right. Hey, Phixated.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is up with NBA officials? I mean, bud. What's going on? Here's the thing. I no longer have a horse in the race, right? Shout out Jason Worth and the Kentucky Derby. Door-knock, by the way. I no longer have a horse in the race. I am 1000% cheering against the Knicks with every fiber of my being. I don't like them. There's not a redeeming player on that roster to me. Not one. And look, Jalen Brunson's good. I'll tip my cap, do the whole thing, but I don't have to like watching him play. I don't have to enjoy that he jumps backwards into guys to draw fouls or controls his body to draw fouls. Like, I don't have to like that. And the same way people don't have to like the way that Joel uses people not being able to defend him to his advantage. The difference between Joel and other players is that people don't know how to defend Joel. Like, they don't know how to defend. So they foul him. Like, he knows he's smart enough to do that. People know how to defend Jalen Brunson. He just jumps into them. Like, I don't know, whatever. That's not what I'm getting to. What I'm getting to here is the total disaster that is NBA officiating. Last night, I watched what was a tremendous basketball for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters. Tremendous. It was an amazing game. Back and forth, lots of amazing turns in the scope of the game, in the pace of the game. Back and forth scoring, fast pace. Like, I don't know half of the Pacer team. Truly don't know half of them. But I really enjoyed watching them play. They played at a high level. They play quick. They're out in transition before you play defense. Miles Turner's become a heck of a player. Is it Miles Turner?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's who it is. I don't. His name is Miles. I'm sure it's whoever. I'm pretty sure it's who it is. That's how much I know about the Pacers. But he's become a heck of a player. Pascal Siakam's always been a good player. TJ McConnell's become a really good player. Halliburton didn't play super well in the second half, especially. But the officiating mishaps, the malfeasance, the just disaster that is NBA officiating, once again did it for the Knicks. I mean, what happened in those final few minutes is baffling to me. The fact that they called a kickball on a ball that on TV was clear as day, full speed, clear as day. I jumped off the seat and said that he didn't kick it. The official was 2 steps away. And the possession before that, they called a foul on what wasn't a foul. And what ends up happening? And you know why they called it a foul? Let me tell you why. Jalen Brunson fell down. He fell down. He flopped. He just fell. And a fast break got taken away. And they had to use a challenge. And then the kicked ball that led. Oh, there was also an illegal screen on that play that they called out today. DiVincenzo should have been fouled out of the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then the kicked ball that ended up being couldn't be challenged. And then DiVincenzo should have been out of the game, hits the back-breaking 3. They come down, they exchange a couple more possessions. They end up scoring, getting a turnover. They come down, and Turner gets called for an illegal screen. Called a moving screen. An illegal screen. They said he was too close and didn't give DiVincenzo a chance to adjust. Regz.
You don't have to.
Regz. I don't even care if you do. That doesn't get called.
I made a living off sneaking up on guys to throw screens at them. That's the whole point.
With 12 seconds in the game, it doesn't get called.
Give him enough time to do what? It's a screen. He's not supposed to be able to adjust.
He said he didn't have enough time to adjust. It could cause injury.
Are you absurd?
And they challenged it. They didn't reverse it. And here's the other thing about it. If you're watching it and you don't see a clear flop.
Well, and also when half of NBA Twitter and the smartest guys who watch basketball are just nope. Nope.
Not a thing. That's not a thing.
I've never once heard.
They also reversed a call earlier in the night where Turner goes up for a shot and Jalen Brunson just torpedoes him.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like he went for the ball. He just torpedoed him.
Yeah.
And they reversed it and said it was minimal contact or whatever the phrase they use now is. Regz, I'm not here for the rigged thing. I'm not here. I don't believe that. What I do believe is that you just have incompetent assholes who insert themselves in the game in a way that just it disparages. I don't even want to watch any. It's such a joke. There's no accountability. It's, here's our 2-minute report. We screwed up 6 calls that could have, honestly changed the game.
Yeah.
But nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And you've got Knicks fans coming out today that are like, well, we didn't complain when they said that in the 2-minute report that Tyrese Maxey walked and we still lost. Well, guys, I think you're leaving out the detail that when Tyrese walked and got fouled, you were still up 2 points, and you had a chance to seal it with 2 free throws, and you missed one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big difference. These calls happened in a tie game.
Yeah.
In a tie game. And one happened with a 1 point differential in 12 seconds. The Pacers had a chance to win the game not once, not twice, but 3 times. And the officials screwed them all 3 times. All 3 times. Like, what's happening?
They don't call screens in high school if people don't have time to adjust. Like, what are we talking about?
It's baffling to me. I will watch tomorrow night, but I just, like, if you're a Pacer fan, you got to go into tomorrow knowing you're losing that.
Yeah.
You're not leaving New York with a win.
Right.
Like, the Sixers lost game, and I have no problem saying that. They lost game 1.
Yeah.
Game 2 was stolen from them.
Yeah.
It was just taken from them. And did they make mistakes in that game? 100%. But there were 3 calls in 1 play that cost them the game. If you're a Pacer fan, you go into tomorrow knowing you just have to win both in Indy.
Yeah.
That's it. And hope for a miracle blowout in New York, because you're not winning a close game in New York. They're not going to give you the calls to win the game in New York. Simple as that. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad for the sport. It's bad for the sport that these guys have no accountability. It's, oh, well, we screwed it up. Sorry, we'll try better next time.
Yeah.
And then they screw up worse next time.
How about you don't get to officiate this series anymore? There's only, what, 4 series going on?
How about you just, like, you get, like, I don't know. Is it that hard to find officials, like, that these guys can't be,
No,
like,
it's not.
Like this, it's so bad.
It is bad.
It's so bad. When I think about, we complain about baseball, but baseball's not in any sort of shape that basketball's in when it comes to the officiating. Like, it's just not. It's not. Like, the ball strike calls are bad, but it's not this. It's not. Like, you could literally look at this as an outsider and say that it's rigged.
Yeah.
You could. I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
But the NBA's in the worst shape when it comes to officials. Like, NFL's second to me. I think hockey is probably in the best shape.
Yeah, I don't watch enough hockey to have any informed opinion.
No one knows what the hell's going on anyway.
Yeah.
Baseball's probably interchangeable with football too, 2 or 3. But basketball is just, I mean, they're destroying games every single night.
Yeah.
Every night. So we'll see what happens, but
That's right.
don't have high hopes for the Pacers.
Man.
All I'm hoping for is, look, if the Knicks win this series, that the Celtics just
stomp them. Yeah.
Stomp that. And I never thought there would be a team
right.
that could make me cheer for the Celtics. But the Knicks and that fan base,
they're pulling it off.
They're finding a way to make me cheer for them. All right, man. Well, hey, we don't know what we're going to do in terms of this week. Tuesday, y'all might just get one next week. I leave on Sunday for a trip. We'll see what happens with, the rest of this week. Maybe we'll throw one up on Saturday. Maybe we'll just come on and talk about what's, happening with the Phillies. And, how that's going down. But we'll keep you posted. Otherwise, go ahead and click the subscribe button on the link below. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow, rate, do the whole thing. Follow us wherever you do your social. On Twitter at the Mic Drop 5 for me, Big Regz with a Z for Regz, at the Phixated Pod for the podcast itself. You can also catch us on Facebook at the Phixated page. Definitely check the merchandise link in the show description below. We appreciate you all for listening. We love each and every one. We hope you have an amazing rest of the week. Be good to yourselves. Be good to someone else. And once again, we love you. Screw you, NBA officials. Screw each and every one of you. And hey, get hot 3. Go Phils.
Go Phils.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.